Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, admittedly, it has taken a few days, but Alex Cole-Hamilton has come out finally and said and confirmed that the Lib Dems will not support Humza Yousaf nor the SNP in the two votes of no confidence. This makes a very bad time for Humza Yousaf personally and the SNP generally. They are now reliant on perhaps Ash Regan or perhaps the odd Green who may depart from his party or her party's position and vote to save them. Although you can't imagine why. I think all opposition parties realise that they're all taking votes and seats away from the SNP. They're all likely to do a little bit better, especially Labour, do a lot better. But even the Greens have been boasting how much they've improved their numbers and are likely to get even more seats at a Holyrood election. And so it looks like they're going to fall. Both Humza Yousaf and the government may well fall. However, even if they don't, even now that the SNP have confirmed that they're going to stand against, so there is a glimmering of hope for Humza Yousaf should Ash Regan say save his bacon. No pun intended. Should that weird Green stand against his party's position and save the SNP government? It won't help anyone. It won't help the SNP. It won't help Scotland. Indeed, it will probably do more harm for Scotland by keeping the SNP there. One only has to think back to the early and mid-70s in the general elections with very small minority governments. There was flip-flopping. There was elections every couple of years. Indeed, I think if I cast my mind back, there was 2 elections in 1974 alone. Harold Wilson was the Prime Minister. He lost to Ted Heath, who lost almost immediately again because of miners going out and the power cuts. It was all who rules, and the answer was not you, Ted. And of course, that then ran in, and you had the resignation of Harold Wilson. He couldn't keep a government together. James Callaghan took over. He wasn't particularly good. He went away on a holiday, didn't he? And then come back and said, what crisis? And then that was it, the winter of discontent, and Margaret Thatcher came in. And that's what you're going to get in Scotland. You're going to get ungovernable governance, simply because you're not going to have a majority able of putting a policy through if the opposition parties do what opposition parties are supposed to do and depose. So you're not going to get any policies through. You're going to be reliant upon extremists from other parties in order to make progress. Nothing will happen. You'll be this torpidity of government, stagnation, stalemate. And it'll go on and stumble on until the 2026 election, unless something is done. When you need immediate action, when things have to happen, and you've got no majority and no willingness on the opposition parties to help you, then it's done. Now, the SNP could obviate this problem now, today, by saying, Humza, will you do the right thing and FRO? Whether he will or not is another matter, but that's up to the SNP. Failing which, come Wednesday, I believe the vote is, he could well be gone anyway. But even if he survives, unlikely as it is, he's powerless. He's impotent. He is a dead duck walking. And that's the problem. And it will damage Scotland. When action needs to be taken, it can't happen. SNP backbenchers and the sort of behind-the-scenes men, you know, the men in grey kilts, I believe, as they've been called, need to get rid of him. They need him to go. And they need to impose somebody, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter, because they're ultimately going to be thrown out of office anyway, simply because they're just so damn useless. And even their own supporters now are seeing it. Even their own supporters are realising how bad it is. As time goes on, it's going to get worse. As time goes on, more and more people will see it. Scotland continues to circle the drain before plummeting down into financial and social oblivion. Crime is rising. There's no police on the streets. There's no teachers in schools. You can barely see a doctor. If you do get to see one, he'll give you a 6 months wait before you see a consultant. There is just no hope. There's no future. And this is all, of course, every part of this SNP policy. They keep blaming Westminster. But it isn't Westminster. It can't possibly be. This is all SNP policy. All the devolved areas is where they're failing. One only has to look at transport, health, education, everything. You cannot name one area. I say to any SNP supporter who happens to watch this, and I know you do because I see the comments and I know you hate watch me, although there's more and more of you who started watching me to hate watch me and are now agreeing with me. I see a lot of that as well. But those who haven't quite, taken the medicine yet and are still living in their delusional made-up land where the SNP are the saviours of all mankind, point to one thing the SNP have ever done that's actually worked and have made life better for everyone. Because you just think, I don't know, we're going to try and reduce the alcohol deaths. They've got worse. In fact, not only have they got worse, by introducing the minimum unit price, they've increased poverty amongst children, because alcoholics will still drink, even if it means drinking their children's food money. Rather than tackling the alcoholic, they're just punishing everyone. There's an example. But every aspect, every part of Scottish life has just got continually worse. It is a shit sandwich in Scotland, because the more bread you got, the less shit you eat. And look at those ones sitting in Holyrood taking all the bread, your tax money, with their massive salaries, their massive pay lifts, all their expenses, living in ivory towers, telling you what you should do, how you should live your life, while these people haven't got a clue. They've never gone hungry. They've never gone cold. They send all their children to private schools, often in England. They have all their little backups. They've got their multiple houses. They've got money salted away, all at public expense. And then tell you, you're going to have to tighten your belt because we haven't got the money for this. Meanwhile, we're going to wank away £45 million on slow signs for roads because we don't want you travelling anywhere. We want to get you and put you into your little 15-minute ghettos so we can control you, herd you, treat you like cattle before basically sending you to slaughter. This is what's happening. And you've got no say on it. How dare you? The moment you say anything, you're arrested and charged for hate speech. Welcome to the future that you, SNP voters, have chosen for the people of Scotland. A minority of you have made it shit for everyone. Hope you're very proud. That's before you even have to start handing your children over to these weirdos. So well done, SNP. And thank heavens, I suppose, that the Liberal Dems have come out. Well done for Alex Cole-Hamilton. He should have done it day one, but he's got there in the end, finally seen the light. And let's hope that everyone rejects these pervs, predators and pedos, gets them out of office, gets them well away from their sticky little fingers in the public cash tin and sends them back whence they came. I'm sure there's many a rock that they can crawl under. Thanks very much for listening. Take care. Speak soon. Goodbye.